Hey, how's it going, EcoFlow friends? Want to show you around camp? Want to show you how I use my WAVE 3. Why we like it is a channel about stuff we like. Hey, if you don't like it, that's okay, move along. But if you like it, subscribe. For the last 3.5 years, this Land Rover Defender has been our camping adventure vehicle. I've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't when car camping, but I realized that when it gets too hot or too cold, it's not that enjoyable. That's when I found out about EcoFlow, and I found that they made a heater air conditioner called the WAVE 2. Now this is their third version, and I want to show you how I use the WAVE series heater and air conditioners to heat and cool the rooftop tent on top of the Defender. Now to keep everything organized, I use the EcoFlow WAVE series carry bag, and I also use 3 or 4 Front Runner Wolfpack Pro boxes so I can organize and store things as needed. Now to get the WAVE 3 up on the roof, it is heavy, it's about 45 pounds. I use a strap that I made and then I go up the ladder that I have on the side of the Defender. The WAVE 3 sits on top of a Roam box, and then I use the ducts to send the air in and out of the tent. I like to use the foam insert that came with the WAVE 2, but the WAVE 3 comes with a template, so you could make your own foam insert for your conditioned air coming in and then your return air coming back into the unit. I route the ducts through the window of the rooftop tent, and then I zip up the mesh around it, sealing it in because of the foam insert. I power the WAVE 3 off of this XD150 cable that I run down and plug into the Delta 2 Max that's inside the vehicle. One of the great things about the WAVE 3 is it has a dehumidifier. And also, if you're using heat or cooling, it will be dehumidifying that area that it's cooling or heating. Make sure that you plug in the drain hose in the back if you're in a climate like Virginia, which is a very high humidity climate. Now that we're all set up top, I come back to the back of the Defender and I go directly to my Delta 2 Max and I plug in. This is our conditioned air coming into the tent, and this is our conditioned air going back into the unit. But what's really great is just jumping right into the app and controlling everything for the WAVE 3 right here. So let's first turn it on. You know the WAVE 3 is powering on because you can actually hear an audible little sound. So last night it was cold, so I was running the heat, but now it's warmer. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna turn it to cool, turn it to max. And it's nice because it tells me the air temperature coming in, it tells me air temperature going back into the unit. Now, of course, I've just started this up, so it's gonna take a little while for it to start cooling down, but already here on my hand, I can feel cold air blowing on my hand, and you can see here dropping from, what was this, 84 a minute ago, now down to 73, 72. You can see that dropping quickly. But this is so nice. The other nice thing about it too is once it's reached its designated temperature, the unit doesn't shut down completely. It actually has a fan mode, so it circulates the air through the tent. That's really beneficial. Not only the ambient noise that you hear, the white noise in the background as you're sleeping, as the unit is running, but also just to move the air around the tent. You can see how quickly it's dropping. Now it's down to 67. You can actually hear it ramping up because I have it on max. I don't know if you can hear that. And you can see the upper corner here how much wattage it's using. Even on a warm day like today, if I just wanted to pop up here, take a nap, I could turn the AC on and just let it start cooling the tent down. You can see when we came in here, the tent was about 80 degrees, and now we're already down to 76, and this is with the windows open. I had the windows closed, it would start cooling even faster. You can see temperature coming out of the unit now is 58, 57. Feels good, you can feel it blowing right out of that vent, cooling the whole space in here. See, our temperature coming out of the unit is 53, and even with the windows open, the return is registering 71 degrees going back into the unit. 42% humidity, now we just dropped to 70. Currently pulling about 300 watts, you can see it dropping down. You know, when I started camping, I wanted to really be able to enjoy it, because we all have those stories of camping and not enjoying it because it was too hot or too many bugs or whatever, you forgot a part to your stove or something like that. So I really set out to make sure that everything that I carried with me was going to help me with the process and make it more enjoyable. Luxuries of home, I know people call it glamping, but I don't. I call it really being on the road and enjoying being out in nature. We're still roughing it. We're still hiking. We're still enjoying the water. We're still out in the elements. But the reality is, why shouldn't we be comfortable when we're out doing this stuff? Why do we have to sleep in a sweaty sleeping bag all night? Why couldn't we have an air-conditioned tent now that technology and a company like EcoFlow can provide that for us? So I've been using the WAVE series now for almost 3 years. I started with the WAVE 2 and now onto the WAVE 3, and I'm thankful for technology and the type of equipment that EcoFlow makes, because it makes this possible. Literally having a rooftop view of a lake and waking up to being able to look out and see the lake as the sun rises is incredible. So I wanted to show this to you before I packed up today, but it all comes down really easy as well. It just zips and comes right out of the window, which is what I'm going to do here in a minute, and break camp for the day. So thanks for checking this out. If you haven't seen the EcoFlow products, the WAVE or the Glacier, I'd encourage you to stop by an Overland Expo, stop by an event. Hit me up online and I'll tell you which events that I'll be at or EcoFlow will be at. I'd love to show you this stuff because it's really changed the way that I've camped, and I think it'll do the same for you. So thanks for checking out. Thanks for tuning in. If you have questions, leave them in the comment section below, and make sure you subscribe, and I'd appreciate it if you like the video. Thanks. Have a great day. This is stuff we like and why we like it. If you're anything like us, we know you're gonna like it too.